Hey there, and welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into a book that has really reshaped how millions think about personal growth. James Clear's Atomic Habits, hugely influential. Yeah, so our mission here is to pull out the most actionable, maybe surprising insights from this bestseller. We've looked at a really thorough review, covers the main ideas, the strengths, even some critiques. So you can walk away with the key stuff on building good habits, breaking bad ones, without needing the full read yourself. Let's get into it.
That sounds good. It's an excellent choice for a deep dive. Definitely a key text in this whole area. Just for context, Atomic Habits came out October 16, 2018. Falls under self-help, personal development, psychology, that kind of space. And its core argument, it's actually pretty simple but profound, making these atomic, meaning tiny changes, consistently. Well, that leads to remarkable results long-term. It's really about focusing on systems over just, setting big goals.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack that because what immediately jumped out at me was that central idea, the power of tiny changes. He really hammers home how these small habits, when they compound with consistency, they create huge change over time. And the genius isn't just that they add up, it's more that they kind of sneak past our resistance to big efforts, right? We often go for these massive shifts, get overwhelmed, and nothing. Clear shows how making the change almost too small to fail is the real path, which feels, well, pretty counterintuitive for a lot of us.
Oh, absolutely. And that compounding idea is just crucial. Because, let's be honest, progress often feels incredibly slow at first, painfully slow sometimes. Clear has a great term for this. The plateau of latent potential.
Right, the valley of disappointment.
Exactly. You're putting in the work, making those tiny changes, but you're just not seeing the big dramatic results straight away. It's so easy to get discouraged there. What's vital, he argues, is trusting the process, even with those slow initial gains. Understanding that the breakthroughs often come after that period where it feels like nothing's happening. It's all about letting that cumulative effect, take hold. It's a principle you see everywhere, even in finance.
Yeah, okay. And here's where it gets really, really interesting and practical. Building on that, Clear lays out his 4 laws of behavior change. This is like a super practical framework. It just clicked for me. So, first law, the cue. You've got to make it obvious. This taps into how our brain just responds to visual triggers, things we see. His example, like leave your workout clothes out the night before, right by your bed. It removes that first little bit of friction, makes it almost automatic.
Reduces decision fatigue right at the start.
Exactly. Second law, the craving. You need to make it attractive. This is about tapping into our desire for, well, pleasure or reward. Clear suggests something called habit stacking. You pair a new habit you want with one you already do consistently. Like if you have coffee every morning anyway, do 10 push-ups right after pour coffee.
Yeah, linking it to an existing routine. Smart.
Then third, the response. Make it easy. This is all about reducing friction. Our brains love efficiency, right? So the simpler a task is to start, the more likely we are to actually do it. Clear's advice is basically make your habits so simple, so quick to begin, you almost can't say no. Like meditating for 1 minute instead of 20.
The 2-minute rule is part of that, yeah.
Yeah.
Just get started.
Right. And finally, fourth law, the reward. Make it satisfying. This closes the loop. We need some kind of positive feedback. Could be a feeling of accomplishment, maybe tracking your progress visually on a chart, or even just a small, healthy treat, something to tell your brain, hey, that was good, let's do it again.
And what's really elegant is how these laws work in reverse for breaking bad habits. You want to make the cue invisible, hide the cookies, make the craving unattractive, focus on the downsides, make the response difficult, add friction, like leaving your credit card at home if you overspend. And make the reward unsatisfying, maybe track the negative consequences. And this really brings up a key point. How often do we actually think about our environment when we're trying to change?
Good question.
We tend to blame lack of willpower, right? But maybe our surroundings are just set up against us.
Yeah, subtly pushing us the wrong way.
Exactly. It's about designing your world, your immediate space, to make the good stuff easier and the bad stuff harder. It's like choice architecture from behavioral science, but applied to yourself.
And that ties so perfectly into what I think is one of the most powerful ideas in the book, identity-based habits. This is where it gets really deep, I think. It's this shift from focusing on what I do to who I am.
Yeah.
Clear as those great lines, like the goal is not to read a book, the goal is to become a reader. The goal is not to run a marathon, it's to become a runner. When you start linking your habits to the person you want to be, they just become stickier, more sustainable. Because it taps into that fundamental need we have to be consistent with our own self-image.
Absolutely. If you see yourself as a healthy person, choosing the salad over fries isn't just a single choice, it's an affirmation of who you are. skipping the gym feels off.
Yeah.
It conflicts with that identity.
Yeah, it's intrinsically motivating then, not just something you have to do.
Precisely. And building on that, the book heavily emphasizes environment design as a practical strategy. It's about setting up your space to support those good habits, so you're not constantly fighting yourself, relying on that willpower, which, as we know, is pretty finite and unreliable.
Totally.
The classic example: want to eat healthier? Okay, put the fruit bowl right there on the counter, visible, easy to grab. Put the junk food, well, hide it away in a cupboard, high up. Or better yet, just don't bring it into the house in the first place.
Out of sight, out of mind, literally.
It's fascinating, isn't it? How much control we can actually exert over our choices just by, tweaking our surroundings, making the good choice the path of least resistance. It leverages our brain's natural laziness, essentially.
Yeah, its tendency towards efficiency.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense. I know for me, just trying to read more, leaving a book on my pillow instead of buried on a bookshelf.
Yeah.
Huge difference. Seems tiny.
But it removes that one little barrier.
Yeah, it really clicks. And this whole focus on setting yourself up for success, kind of bypassing willpower, that really leads us to the big key takeaways from Atomic Habits. If we sort of zoom out, what are the core principles? First, definitely focus on systems, not just goals. Goals are for direction, systems are for progress. Second, those small habits done consistently, they matter way more than huge short-term bursts of effort.
The compounding effect again.
Third, change your environment. Don't just rely on changing your mindset or white-knuckling it.
Yeah, make your environment work for you.
And fourth, that identity piece. It's probably the most sustainable foundation for making changes stick long-term, aligning habits with who you want to become.
And, these takeaways really explain why the book resonated so widely. The strengths are pretty clear. It's incredibly actionable. You get clear summaries, practical steps, easy to implement stuff right away.
Yeah, the chapter summaries are great.
It feels grounded in science, psychology, neuroscience, behavioral economics. It's not just fluff. Clear uses really relatable examples and analogies, makes complex ideas easy to grasp, like the plane changing course by a few degrees.
Right, ending up somewhere totally different.
And it's so flexible, you could apply these ideas to almost anything. Health, work, learning, relationships. Pretty universal.
Okay, but fairness requires we touch on potential criticisms too. No book is perfect for everyone. Some people do find it a bit repetitive. Maybe the core ideas get restated quite a bit. Could be intentional reinforcement, though.
Sure, that's fair. Repetition aids learning for some, feels redundant to others.
Also, if you've read, The Power of Habit or other self-help stuff, some concepts might not feel totally brand new. Clear's strength is maybe more in the synthesis and the practical framework.
Agreed. It builds on existing work, but makes it exceptionally clear and actionable.
And maybe it offers more breadth than, say, super deep dives into the specific scientific studies behind each point. It prioritizes accessibility.
Which is a valid point. It's meant for a broad audience, not necessarily an academic one. So yeah, these are perspectives to consider.
Definitely.
But ultimately, who is this book really for? I'd say anyone really struggling with consistency or discipline, people who feel overwhelmed by big goals. If you want practical ways to improve time management, health, productivity, it's a fantastic guide. And yeah, if you like The Power of Habit but wanted something maybe even more step-by-step, Atomic Habits is probably right up your alley.
For sure. And before we wrap up, let's share those two quotes that really hit home. They summarize so much. First, you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Oof, that one lands.
Powerful, shifts the focus entirely.
And the second one, which I find just incredibly profound, every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become.
Yeah, that connects directly back to the identity piece. Makes every small choice feel significant.
So summing up, Atomic Habits, it really feels like more than just another self-help book. It's like a practical manual for real change through these tiny, consistent steps. It's not about some fleeting burst of motivation. It's about giving you the tools. You can see why it gets those 55 ratings so often.
Absolutely. And maybe that leads us to a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. If Clear is right, if every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become, well, what kind of person are your daily atomic votes building right now? And maybe more importantly, what's just one tiny, almost invisible tweak you could make starting today to begin shifting that trajectory, even just a little bit?